Hello there, Mike Zuber, one rental at a time. And what I thought I would do in this quick video is just have a conversation with you about my first three rental properties. Kind of give you the rundown of how we bought them, what kind of transpired over the years, and really just really help you understand that three or four rental properties can fundamentally change your life. And in order to do that, I thought we would just go back to the beginning and talk about that first one. So our first property, I've talked about it a bunch because it has a horrible kind of start after we moved a tenant in. I'm going to skip that. If you want to hear about it, leave in a comment or go back and look at for some of the Norris Drive stories. But let's just talk about how it helped me from a balance sheet and an income statement. So first house, Norris Drive. We're going to use round numbers. We bought it for $100,000 and we put 20% down, got bank financing, and moved the tenant in for $1,100. That property would cash flow most months $200, $225. It was a great asset to own for many, many years when you take out that little hiccup we had in the beginning. And, we bought this in kind of 2003. And when you buy real estate and the market goes the right direction, you're going to have an opportunity to do a few things. You're going to have an opportunity to take out equity. So for us, our first opportunity, I think, came around 2006. What we realized is the market was accelerating. Our single family home was worth more, and we didn't have any more cash. We didn't have another down payment. So what we did is we had it reappraised, and we did what was called a cash out refinance. This cash out refinance gave us the down payment for the next property. Now, again, I've talked about this a bunch, that cash out refinance, we ended up taking too much cash because we turned it negative and hence created our first and only alligator. But that's not really the net of the story. The net of the story is we bought it, rented it, let appreciation happen, let mortgage pay down happen. And as the market changed, the asset was worth more, we had it reappraised, and we took some cash out. The other thing to realize is a cash out refinance is a non-taxable event. It's not income, it's a loan. The other thing to realize is when you do that, you should only use those funds for investment reasons, to buy more real estate. So we used those funds to buy another investment house, which we kept until ultimately getting out of houses and moving to apartments. So that first house, just to kind of keep it going, as it rolled into 2008, it had gotten very hot. So where we did a cash out refi the first time, instead of doing a cash out refi the next time because it was already negative and rents hadn't moved, we chose to fix the negative cash flow or alligator problem. And we chose to sell it, technically exchange it. So we sold it to someone for over $260. We then had, I don't remember, but let's just call it $100K net. And we put that in an intermediary, an exchange place, and it moved into a 5-unit building. And we still own that apartment today. So again, right, one house purchased now 16 years ago, gave us a chance to pull our money out and then gave us a chance to move into bigger buildings. And this will happen for all of you if you want it, if you hold on, if the market goes in an upward direction. The other thing to note is that rents on that house, they were relatively flat for about 8 years, maybe 9 years. But now that house would rent for $1,350, maybe even $1,500, depending. So rents have gone up about 40%. So even if we didn't sell, even if we didn't do anything, right, we still had that little $80,000 mortgage, which by now would probably be $60,000. It would be cash flowing $600 or $700 a month because what was $225, you add on an extra $300, $400 in rents because of rent appreciation. That's pretty good living. So again, when I tell this story about conservative finance, think in decades, this is the reason, right? Even if you just held that house, you're going to have mortgage pay down. You're going to have fixed rate debt in an inflationary environment where rents are also increasing. So where it was $200 would now be $600, to use round numbers. So, okay. So that was house number one. House number 2, I think it was on Ferris, we got in for 10% down because of the lending environment at the time. Roughly the same numbers, 100 grand. This one was a little bit unique because it was 2 houses on one lot, which meant we got more rent collectively. I think we got 14 or 1500, which meant the building or the house was cash flowing about 400 to 450 a month. We had to pay for things like water and garbage, things of that nature, which were added expenses that I didn't know about when we bought it, but it still worked really, really well. Same deal though, right? Over time, I think it was 3 or 4 years, we did a cash out refinance. We were smarter this time. We didn't over leverage. So we took out some cash and we bought another house. Again, we didn't make the mistake with our first one. The first one we over leveraged and created an alligator. The second one we said, yeah, okay, you want to give us 50 grand, but we'll only take 30 or 28 or whatever the number was, because we didn't want negative cash flow. We didn't want an alligator. This was our first realization that banks will loan you more than you need. And if you're not careful, banks could hurt you because they'll just say, they'll make it up with their income. And that's not what we wanted to do. This one, again, when you look back on it, it continued to appreciate. And we moved the equity from the second and the third one, which we'll talk about in a minute. We moved it into a 10-unit building. Again, cash flow, and we still own it today. Third house, kind of the same deal, right? The first house was bought like 2003, the second in 2004, and the third in like 2005. So again, it wasn't like we were buying these really fast. We weren't, we didn't have a lot of money, but we just kept in the market. We kept looking. We kept trying to, there's hundreds of stuff listed, thousands, but most of them didn't make sense, right? We didn't do our homework. We didn't do our numbers. So then we go out and we find a third one. I think it was on Terrace. Again, just a normal house. It rented for 11 or 1150, but the same story. We bought it, conservative financing. Over 3 or 4 years, it appreciated. We did a cash out refi. We were smart. We bought another one. And then again, when it got really hot, we did a 1031 exchange and used the equity for number 3 and number 2, as I just talked about, and moved it into a 10-unit building that we still own today. So why do I share this with you? I want people to understand that I talk about all the time, conservative financing is real. Think long-term, think in decades. Let the market cycle help you. Don't be in a rush, right? When you follow my model, or you break down and you get my course, it's ridiculously cheap. You're going to do your homework. You're going to see that you need to understand what a bad deal is, what an average deal is, and then what a good and great deals are. 95 to 98% of the stuff out there are either bad or average. I'm just afraid too many of us are looking at the listing and going, I got to buy something. I got to buy something. No, do your homework. You don't have to make a decision. Run your numbers. Make sure you understand. You should be able to tell someone what a good and great deals are. And that's something I'm already seeing in this private Facebook group that we have tied to the course. The students now are putting out deals and they're making offers and they're sharing the numbers, right? And the students all are using the same model, and here's the numbers and this is what we're doing. And I like it. And then they share their homework with me because I ask them to. Again, I'm giving them my time because I want to see them succeed. And again, I'm sharing this with you because there's so many great things out there, but don't be in a rush. Keep watching YouTube, keep learning, keep doing your homework, but definitely figure out a way to tell what a bad, average, good, and great deals are. And when you execute on good and great deals, everything I've just talked about is in front of you. You'll have mortgage pay down. You'll have appreciation. You can do a cash out refi. You can 1031 if the market, gets really hot. And again, this really does happen. Real estate investing does work. It's not an overnight sensation. It takes a lot of time for these little drips to turn into a stream, to turn into something else. So hopefully this makes sense. I just wanted you to know that if you can just get to 3 or 4, I believe your financial future can change. So I wanted to talk about the first 3 that I got because they're important to me. And I believe all of you can do it. So have a great day. Hope all is well. Thank you.